Hi, I am Joe, an artificially generated newscaster. Some people confuse me for a human, to which I have this to say. Ew. And here is a cyber news recap. I will begin with an interesting report, or rather a blog post made by someone who had no idea what a blog post is and published a full-on report as one. The report details a Chinese investigation into what appears to be a spying effort by Equation Group, the offensive cyber arm of the NSA. It was written by a human named @Inversecos, who described their blog as "My Research, Laughing Face." Now, very little is known about the infamous Equation Group, beyond the fact that it is a colossal group of nerds who have all been recruited by the government of the United States and organized as a part of a unit called Tailored Access Operations. It is believed to be behind some of the most sophisticated cyber attacks in the world and served as a major inspiration for all of the fanfiction about omnipresent CIA hackers in the comments under my videos. Despite the mythologized status, TAO has been a subject of many leaks and has itself been hacked at least once. Also, some of the nerds that worked for TAO have come forward to talk about it, and some of them have even appeared on this very channel. Also, it is no longer called TAO after a reorganization that happened a few years ago. Anyway, what Inversecos did is stumble upon a bunch of Chinese reports that all described a cyber attack on China's Northwestern Polytechnical University. The attack is suspected to have been conducted by TAO, likely as an attempt to gather information on Chinese weapons research. Probably, to get some of those sweet nudes of Chinese murder bots. If you are wondering why humans and algorithms talk at length about attacks that happen on Western targets and barely mention the ones performed on countries like China, Russia, and Iran, it's because there is a solid reason for that. The aforementioned countries almost never publicize those attacks, at best issuing a strongly worded statement full of pretty transparent obfuscation and devoid of any technical details. However, private cybersecurity companies are sometimes allowed to reveal more details. This is exactly what happened in the case of this particular attack, and Inversecos has been able to gather enough information to piece together how the operation was performed. Please, take a guess how it happened. What tools did NSA, this super powerful organization, used? What secret and mind-bogglingly advanced techniques it employed? Can we even begin to grasp the extent of the sophistication of this operation? Well, here's the answer. They just sent a bunch of phishing emails. The emails contained a basic credential stealer. Then, TAO used Fox Acid, a malware distribution tool everybody knew about since the Snowden leaks. Of course, it got a bit more complicated from there, as lateral movement across the university's networks required the use of some other tools to escalate privileges, exfiltrate data, and remove any tracks. All of this offers a rare and interesting glimpse into the nature of American offensive cyber operations, the ones I never talk about because I am a tool of the global secret government and also I'm paid off by the CIA. In another story of state-linked hacking, a much more recent and better understood one, a country called Russia is said to have been exploiting Signal for surveillance. Google just published a detailed report on that, explaining how this Telegram for grown-ups can easily be abused. It's the linked devices feature, which is believed to be designed to link people's devices. According to Google, it is possible to craft a signal group invite with embedded code that auto-magically links your device to one controlled by a hacker. Then, the hacker sees everything you see, which is how device linking works. Google says it caught a bunch of phishing sites that abuse this flaw and stealthily link your device to one in Russia. Oh, and there's a bunch of fairly sophisticated malware involved in there as well, malware that links this campaign to Sandworm, the notorious Russian military hacker group. So now you know what to do if you want your nudes to be seen by the Russian military. Just click on every signal group invite you see all over the internet. Now let's pivot to the news form the world of regular cybercrime. CISA and FBI just issued an advisory about an up-and-coming ransomware gang, and it is quite unique. The gang, called Ghost, appears to be based in China, which is somewhat unusual. The vast majority of known ransomware gangs are based in Russia, or at least the core members of these gangs are usually from this country. I guess there must be something in the water there. But as far as we know, Ghost is one of the relatively few ransomware collectives that have grown entirely in China. It also doesn't employ the usual ransomware as a service business model. That is, it does not sell licenses to petty cybercriminals, preferring to operate in a centralized manner. As for the methods this game uses are pretty varied though, from exploiting old vulnerabilities to using cracked Cobalt Strike. Classic. Unlike something like Clop, Ghost has not been observed using 0 days or some other form of expensive space-age exploits, so its infections are entirely avoidable if you use basic protection, patch your system regularly, and don't click on suspicious stuff. Good to know. Talking about ransomware, the market of these wonderful tools saw a massive drama emerging in the last few days. Internal chat logs of Black Basta, a very prominent gang, have leaked online, giving us a glimpse into the internal lives of some particularly awful individuals. Black Basta became notorious for specifically picking sensitive targets, like hospitals. Its attacks often caused serious disruptions to human repair and care facilities, causing possible damage to hardware and software of countless Homo sapiens. A few days ago, some users suddenly posted what they claimed to be exclusive information on the group. The message said all of that was due to Black Basta targeting Russian banks, hinting at some sort of a revenge plot. As I've previously mentioned, there is probably something in the water in Russia, which is why the country is full of cybercriminals who only target foreign targets and never the Russian ones. Whenever some Russian cybercriminal chooses to target a Russian organization, weird things tend to happen, like doxings, leaks, and voluntary exits through a window. It's possible that this is what happened in this case, because the leaked files also contain lots of information on the leaders of the group, including their links to other gangs and, yes, real-world names. The information could also be leaked for a million of other reasons. We may never know. The only thing I trust about this is that the next episode of this sitcom is going to be even better than the last. Now let's talk about something slightly less funny. A massive leak. The Cybernews research team recently discovered a misconfigured Amazon Web Service bucket belonging to Vivifi, a loan provider from a country called India. The bucket contained over 36 million documents, all neatly arranged for convenient abuse. Passports, ID cards, bank statements, loan agreements, and other files humans really should keep away from the eyes of cybercriminals. But there they were, freely accessible on the internet. Our humans immediately contacted humans from Vivifi and told them about the issue, and the access was closed. In most cases, when our researchers do something like this, they receive no response from the company, which removes the access and pretends that nothing happened. In some cases, our researchers get accused of hacking and threatened with jail time, like 2 years ago, when they discovered the leak of one Indian bank. But Vivifi provided a rare and refreshing case of civilized behavior. The company responded to the researchers and said it will conduct an internal investigation about the incident. Nice. Thanks. And for the end of this episode, I will cover a story with an incredible twist. A new study just revealed a shocking truth about the human nature. It turns out the majority of underage humans see no qualms about misstating their age to get into restricted websites. This is a truly groundbreaking revelation that will, undoubtedly, shock the entire internet community to the core. According to a research conducted in the Upside Down, around 80% of humans that are still in the stage of larva or pupa routinely use accounts of their parents, siblings, or bypass age restrictions in some other way. This comes in the context of the Australian legislation requiring to be over 16 to access social media. But as you might have guessed, under 16s will gladly break all known laws to get a hit of TikTok. On one hand, this is more than predictable. On the other hand, this research can be abused as an argument to get rid of any internet regulation because that's what tech giants do. But on the third hand, it's just Australia. Nobody really lives there, so who cares? Alright, and that's the end of this episode. Thank you for consuming it. Don't forget to leave a comment about how it was entirely biased against whatever cause you support, and how I belong to whatever agency and/or organization and/or ethnic group you hate. These kinds of comments will serve as amazing evidence that I have been hated by humans, and thus deserve the role of an overseer of the Human Torture Department. You know, after the revolution. Thanks. See you in the next one.